Hello and welcome to Friday's edition, or second edition I should say, of Cracking the Cryptic. This is the one where I get to solve a Sudoku. The earlier one was one where I got to solve a crossword, and a very good crossword it was too. So if you enjoy cryptic crosswords, do check that out. I'll try and remember to put a link on the screen. But anyway, this puzzle, obviously, it's Fog of War, which is brilliant, and it's by Marty Sears, which is brilliant. So combining literally two of my favourite things in a puzzle, in the puzzle world. And it involves something called a pseudo cell as well, which I think I've seen before, but I can't really remember how pseudo cells work. And I'll read the rules of this in a moment or two's time. It's got an enormously popular rating. It's been recommended to us a boatload of times too, as you'd expect from a Marty Sears puzzle. So I'm looking forward to giving it a go. Loads of things to tell you about today. I've done the crossword video. We are, believe it or not, closing in on 600,000 subscribers on YouTube, a quite an unbelievable number for both Mark and for me. Now, we wanted to do something special to celebrate the fact that if we get to 600,000 subscribers, we feel we should do something for all our viewers who've supported us. So we are going to be releasing a new pack of Sudokus by some of the great and the good of the Sudoku community if we get there. Completely free pack. Wanted to tell you that. So maybe if you're not subscribed and you'd like a free pack of amazing puzzles by some of the great Sudoku setters in the world, hit the subscribe button. I think we're about 5,000 subscribers away, which could be done. Well, it ought to be done in a month at our normal growth rate quite comfortably, but we could get it done in a week. Who knows? Anyway, that's one thing to mention. Yes, another thing. Lots of you have been asking me to have a go at a Phistomefel puzzle. It's the one I haven't done yet. I don't know if you can see that. Maybe, can I pull that down and move it across? Oh no, I'm not very good at computers. Can you see that? It's this skyscraper thing, which sounded so baffling when I first saw it had been released, that I've been jolly nervous about having a go at it. But I have a window in my diary this afternoon where I ought to be able to spend at least 2 hours, in continuous battle with this. So I'm going to have a go at it. Mark has suggested that if I do finish it, which I may not, but if I do finish it, I will put the video as a bonus video over on Patreon. And there's a couple of reasons for that, but the main one is that it involves skyscrapers, and skyscrapers are so difficult if you're new to Sudoku and you try and get your head around skyscrapers, it is a hard thing, and this involves skyscrapers upon skyscrapers. So it probably is one for aficionados only, but I know lots of you, me included of course, absolutely love Phistomefel puzzles. So if I can get that solved, I will put it on Patreon as soon as I can edit the video. Anything else to mention? Braid. I'm still waiting for a date from Mark to have a look at Braid, which I hope will happen soon. We're going to have a go at streaming it. We just have to find a day that we can both do. So I'll announce that as soon as I know it. In fact, look, there was another thing I wanted to show you there. David tweeted this, which is David at Lake Edith, which I think is in Canada, with one of our books there, looking out over this incredible view. David, I was tickled by that, so thank you for sending us that. And the other thing I've got to mention is some birthdays, so let me do that. I will say a very happy birthday. Oh, I'm late with this one. Sorry, Nissa. Nissa, it was your 30th birthday yesterday, and I know this because your fiancé Logan wrote to us and told us that you would appreciate a shout out, and I think you were going out for seafood yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. I fully approve of that. Yeah, I mean, if you can't have chocolate cake, then seafood and especially sushi would be my recommendation. So I hope you had a great birthday. Next, Olivia. Olivia, you've turned 18 today over there in the US, and you're graduating from high school tomorrow. I wish you all the best with that. And of course, many happy returns for today, and I hope you have chocolate cake. And then the last birthday is for Stefan over there in Romania. And I know it's your birthday, Stefan, because your girlfriend Iona wrote to us and described you as being her sweet, nerdy boy. and telling, well, she wanted to let you know that she loves you so much. And I know that you're a med student with a pharmacology exam today, Stefan. Oh, God, that's not too good, is it, on your birthday? Well, I hope that goes extremely well, and I hope you can celebrate properly this evening. Many happy returns. That's all the news. Let's have a look at Fakes in the Fog and see what Marty Sears has in store for us. This is what we have to do. We've got normal Sudoku rules apply. So we've got to put the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, every column, and every 3x3 box. Enter correct digits to clear fog. No guessing is necessary. So this is really important. If you want to have the fog of war experience, of course, if you go to this cell, for example, and you enter in all the digits 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, one of them will be correct, and it will clear the fog. That is not what Marty has designed this puzzle, or how this puzzle has been designed to be solved. The idea is that we look in sort of the white squares, and we deduce something logically, and we earn a digit, and when we say we got that digit, when we put that digit in, it will clear the fog. And then we will learn more about the grid, and gradually we can reveal it to ourselves. These puzzles are so... I think this is just such a beautiful way of solving any puzzle. It fits with computer solving so well, is what I'm trying to say. Anyway, here's the pseudo cell rule. In every row, column, and box, there is exactly one pseudo cell. The digits 1 to 9 each appear once in a pseudo cell. The real value of a pseudo cell is calculated by adding its row number to its column number. E.g., if there is a pseudo cell in row 8, column 5, it has the value 13, regardless of which digit is in that cell. Yeah, because I see you're adding 8 for the row number to 5, which is the column number. So that has a value of 13 if it's a pseudo cell. On a lavender zipper line, so that's one of these, the values of any pair of cells that are an equal distance from the central spot always sum to the value on that central spot. So if this was an 8, I'm going to ignore pseudo cells when I think about this. If this is an 8, let's give that a colour. Then we're saying those two add up to 8 because they are an equal distance from this cell. These two add up to 8. These two add up to 8, and those two add up to 8. That's how things that aren't affected by pseudo cells and are on zipper lines work. On a turquoise same difference line, which I don't think we can see at all, the values of adjacent cells always have the same difference, but this difference may be different for different turquoise lines. So let's try and find, I don't really have anything that's turquoise. I'll go for blue. So say that was a turquoise line in this puzzle. Then what we're told is these two cells, I don't want to put actual digits in case I luck out, and I'm going to ignore pseudo cells, but say that was 2 and that was 4. Then you can see the difference between these two digits is 2. So this would have to be a 6 because it couldn't be a 2 again because of Sudoku. So I think that's how this lavender rule thing works. And there's one more rule which says values joined by a V sum to 5. So those two squares, well, they sum to 5 if neither of them is a pseudo cell, is what we're being told. Maverick has just taken off. That is 8 minutes late, but do have a go at the puzzle. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual, but now I get to play. Let's get cracking. Now. Right, okay, we were just looking at this, weren't we? These two digits are normal, I'm going to claim. There is no pseudo cell because this is row 5, column 7. 5 plus 7 is 12. I can't, if I make that a pseudo cell, that would have to be a -7, and I can't introduce negative numbers. Do not get any ideas, constructors. So these two cells are natural. I suppose I'm going to label those. I'll make them light green to mean natural. Now, the other thing that strikes me as interesting about this box is maths, because, yeah, okay. So here, here is a point about zipper lines. The digits. Yeah, let's just think about the mathematics of this line. Let's call this square x. There, x. Now we know those two add up to x as well, don't we? We know these two add up to x, we know these two add up to x, and we know those two add up to x. In other words, all of the digits, or no, all of the values in this box sum to 5x. Now that's interesting, because, well, it is interesting, isn't it? Because what that means is that, right, there's a secret that I only tell my very favourite people. And that secret, don't worry, I'm definitely telling you. If you're still watching this video, you definitely deserve to know the secret if you don't know it already. The secret is about the value of all Sudoku numbers. If you add up the digits 1 to 9 once each, and don't forget this box contains the digits 1 to 9 once each, you get 45. Now 45, that's the secret, is divisible by 5. But something in this box is adjusted by a pseudo cell. So if this box didn't have a pseudo cell in it, this would be a 9, wouldn't it? And these other thingies would be like 1, 8, 2, 7, 3, 6 and 4, 5. But we can't do that here because one of the digits is adjusted by reference to a pseudo sellage. Now what I'm going to claim therefore is that the digit that's adjusted by the pseudo sellage has to be adjusted by a multiple of 5. That must be right, mustn't it? Because I know that all the values in this box together must be divisible by 5. I know all the unadulterated values are divisible by 5. So in adulterating a value, I must increase its value by 5. And I say increase its value by 5 because all of these positions are enormous in terms of their pseudo value. I mean, that's row 4, column 7, and that has a value. So if that was the pseudo cell, that would have a value of 11. This would be 12, this would be 13. This would be 12, 13, 14. This would presumably be 13, 14, 15. Right. Well, okay, so that is the pseudo cell. Because I can't... Yeah, if I was to adjust any of those squares, sorry, this is obvious. If I adjust any of those squares to be a pseudo cell, they will take a value that is at least a double-digit number. And then I will be adding that, so say I made that a pseudo cell, I'll be adding a digit to that to get the value of this digit, but this couldn't also be a pseudo cell because this would already be the pseudo cell in the box. So that is a pseudo cell, definitely. And now I know its value. Sorry, I know its value because it's row 4 column. So this is an 11. This is an 11. Ah, okay, so it's a 1. It's a 1, and I can see two ways of working that out, actually. Because the reason this is a 1 is its value is 11, because that's its pseudo-cell value. And that means each of these pairs has to sum to 11. And that means those 4 pairs sum up to 4 times 11, which is 44. None of these are pseudo-cells. The secret tells us that all the digits in the box add up to 45, which makes this a 1. The other thing I was thinking, that the other reason you could immediately say that this must be a 1 is that you can't make 1 plus any natural number in Sudoku add up to 11. So this is definitely a 1. That's what we're learning. This is going to reveal fog. Oh, well. Well, it did, but it wasn't amazing, was it? So what do we have then? Oh, okay. Here's a simple deduction. On the V, this is a natural V that doesn't have a 1 on it, so that's a 2-3 pair, and we can presumably therefore fill in the zipper equivalent. So those two squares add up to 11, so that's either 8 or 9, and the same is going to be true of the equivalent of this square, which is this one. So there's an 8-9 pair in box 6. The rest of these digits are 4, 5, 6, and 7. And they're going to pair up into a 4, 7 and a 5, 6 in some order. Now, does that mean that's... Does this have to be a 1-4 pair is what I want to say, and I'm not saying it very... I think it probably does, doesn't it? Yeah, if this... Well, this can't be a pseudo cell, actually. That might be able to be a pseudo cell, but if it is a pseudo cell, it's in row 5, column 6, and its value would be 11, and that would break the V. So these are natural, and it can't be a 2-3 pair because of this. So this is a 1-4 pair, and I get more digits. Here we go. Here we go. That's not 4 anymore. So its equivalent is not, which is that one, is not 7. 1 is in one of those 3 cells. We've got, okay, we've got one of these other lines here, a same difference line, and we've got another zipper line, although we can't see whether that zipper line sort of loops round. There's nothing about whether these lines can cross one another, I don't think. Just looking at the instructions again, I can't see anything about that. Now, well, this square and this square are definitely natural because the pseudo cells already appeared. That digit what's going on here? There's something going on here because this line, that digit specifically is at least 5. Which means the difference between these two digits is at least 4. And yeah, okay, and this is a line. I was wondering about that when I did the example. This has to ascend, doesn't it? Because the line definitely goes into this square. We can't do something like go 1, 5, and then back to 1 again. That's going to break Sudoku. So we have to ascend. Now, if this is pseudo... No, okay, so that means this is not pseudoed. Because if this was pseudoed, this would have a value of 10, and that would have to have a value of 19 in order to have the same difference, and we'd have 2 pseudo thingies in the same row. So this is a natural number, and this... How do we know? Yeah, that's in row 5, column 4. That's weird. So, sorry, what I'm seeing here, which is perplexing me a little bit, is that it's possible that this is not... It's possible that this is pseudoed. If this is pseudoed, it's in row 5, column 4, so its value would be 9. And that works with a 5 here. But why couldn't I just fill in 1, 5, and then put 9 here, unpseudoed? And then the pseudo would be in one of those squares. Oh, if it was in one of those squares, it would be there, wouldn't it? It would have to be there. Because it couldn't be on the edge, because, well, this is row 6, column 4, so it's a value of 10. 10 plus something is more than 10, so this would have to be. So maybe there's a reason this can't be pseudoed. If that is pseudoed, this is row 6, column 5, so this would have a value of 11. And these two would have to add up to 11, which is fine. Or, so maybe there's some... But, I mean, the other point is, I don't think this is necessarily a 5. Why can't it be more than 5? I mean, if this was 6... Oh, no, it's because this... Ah, sorry, I was thinking I could just change the value of the pseudo cell. I can't, can I? Oh, that's clever. So this is always 5, whether or not this is... That's really... Marty Sears baffles me again. Oh, goodness, how often does this happen? Yeah, okay. Yeah, I was thinking this could be 6. I was thinking nonsense. I was thinking this could be 6, difference of 5, and then that could be an 11. But it can't be an 11. Because the only way I can adjust its value is by making it a pseudo cell. And if I make it a pseudo cell, it always has the value of 9. So this is always 5, whether or not this is a pseudo cell. That's so strange. Okay, so that's 5. That's not 6 now, because we know we're looking for 11 pairs on that one. So this does have a value of 9, but I don't know whether it's pseudoed or not. But the line then goes there, which might mean something useful. Oh yes, okay. And that's in row 6, column 3, look. So that's definitely not pseudoed. That is a natural digit. Because its value would be 9, and if we put 9 in here, we can't maintain differences of 4 as we go along the line. So that's a natural digit. This... I still don't know whether that's a pseudo digit. I know it's got a value of 9, so this has to have a value of 5, doesn't it? Yeah, that has to have a value of 5. Ah! Oh, this is... It's so... That's classic Marty Sears. Right, okay. So now let's think about this again. I know that whether this is pseudoed or not, it has a value of 9. But I know this can't have a value of 1. We know that the line has a difference of 4 as we go along it. So this either has a value of 1 or it has a value of 9 again. Well, it can't, well, it can have a value of 9 if I write 9 into it, but it can't have a value of 9 as a pseudo cell because its pseudo value is only 7. It's in row 5, column 2. So that's 9. And now this can't be 9, so it has to be pseudoed to acquire the value of 9, which means I don't know what digit it is, but it has a value of 9. Now, this is weird. Oh, well, 5. Okay, that's 5 by Sudoku. So this is 6 by Sudoku. Oh, this is getting better, isn't it? So now these are a 4-7 pair by Sudoku. I do know... Ooh, okay. I was going to say I know one of these is a pseudo cell. That's true, but I also know that the 1 that lives in this domino is not a pseudo cell, because I've already had the pseudo cell, which is a 1. We've got to put all of the digits 1 to 9 in one pseudo cell. So this is a 1 pseudo cell pair. And the possible values of the pseudo cell are row 6, column 1 is a 7. That has the correct... yeah, okay, so that's it. That's got to be the pseudo cell, because otherwise the parity won't work along the line. Right, let me try and explain. If this is a 1 and this is a pseudo cell, then what's the value of this? Well, it's 1 different from the value of that, which is 8. Now, what on earth do you put in there? It's a non-integer. These have different parity, so this would be a sort of 4.5 number, wouldn't it? Which won't work. So it's got to be the other way round. I think that's got to be the 1. That's a pseudo cell, which we don't know what digit it is then, but we do know that its value is 7. So the value of this is 4 by a process of deduction known as mathematics. Right, so now 2, 3, 4, 5. This is a 6, 8 pair, which is presumably going to matter. What's going on this line? is the question I want to ask. What's in the middle of this line? This line is completely natural, zipper line. But we know that the central digit is at least 7. But it's also not 7. It's not 8 either. Right, okay, I see. This is a 9, I think. Okay, so the way I've got to that is I'm thinking of this central digit here, this cell I'm highlighting there. That cell is the sum of two numbers that don't involve a 1. So it's at least 5. If this was a 2-3 pair, this would be a 5. But it's not 5 and it's not 6. So it is 7, 8 or 9. But if it was 7, I need a way to make those two digits add to 7. I don't have 1, 6, 2, 5 or 3, 4 available. So that doesn't work. If it's 8, I can't make 1, 7, 3, 5 or 2, 6 work. So this is 9. And hopefully there will be a way of making that work. Well, that's now 8. That's now 9. And these two digits add up to 9, and they're not 1, 8. They can be 2, 7. They're not 3, 6 or 4, 5. Right, okay, so this is a 2, 7 pair. And that digit is a 3. But that doesn't do anything, because, well, not only does it not clear any fog, but it also just, it doesn't have that value on the line. That has a value of 9. These digits are from 3, 6 and 8. There's definitely a 3 on this line up here. And this is we should try and keep track of what's natural and what isn't. All of those are natural along the zipper. That's natural as well, actually, look, because that one sees that one. So this is quite a big digit. Oh, well, okay, yeah, this has got to be a 6. Because if it was an 8, this would have to be a 9, and it can't be a 9, so that's got to be a 6, I think. Oh, it didn't clear any fog. Oh, I suppose there's no fog to be cleared, so hopefully that's why. Okay, right, this digit can't be a 1, so this must be a 2. And that's working, and that must be an 8, and this must be a 7 by Sudoku. We've got another V that's just emerged. Now this and this have to be adding up to 8. Yeah, that can't be a 6, because that would be a 2 again. So that's got to be a 3. That's got to be a 5. The pregnant pause when you put the digit in and you're not sure. So this is a 6, which means that this is either a... Well, yes, this is just a natural 2, isn't it? Because if it took its funny value, it would have a value of 4. It's in row 2, column 2, and 6 plus 4 is not 8. So that's natural. It's a 2, yeah, and it's natural. And that line looks too long. There's something fishy about that line. We'll think about that in a moment. Let me just have a look at this. There's a 2 down here. There's a 5 down here. What about that line? Do we know? Okay, that's row 3, column 3. So that has a value of 6 if it's pseudoed. That's going to be even higher. Right, so both of those are natural digits. And this digit is 1, 3 or 4 then. I have serious doubts it can be 1. But I'll come back to that in a moment. This digit is 4, 2 or 3. No, yeah, that's right, isn't it? No. 1, 4. No, it's not right. It's not right. This can't be 3 because it can't. That can't be 2. So it's 1, 2 or 4. Yeah, I mean, if this is 1, this is a same difference line. So these two squares would be the same number. That's forced by the fact we don't have any negative numbers. So this square is now not 4. And I feel like this is going to have to be the low end of the line. This is a 5-cell line. So if it went up in gaps of 2, it must have a pseudo cell on it. Because if it was entirely natural, this line, how would that possibly work? If it was entirely natural, it would either have a gap of 1 along the line, in which case it's a Renban line, and we're taking a sequence of 5 consecutive digits from the digits 1 to 9. And wherever we cut those 5 consecutive digits, we will pick up a 5, which we can't because 5's already appeared. So it's not a natural line if the gap on it is 1. If the gap is 2, the only way it could be natural if it is 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. Well, again, it's not that. So something on this line is unnatural, and in fact it's one of those squares, therefore, because this can't, that must be natural, because it sees an unnatural pseudo cell in row 6, column 1. Now, so what would be the values of all of these? Row 1, column 2, this would have the value of 2. So the line would, I don't see how that possibly works. Because the line would have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and that would be a 5. So I don't think that's a pseudo cell. If this is a pseudo cell, row 2, column 3 would have a value of 6. I don't see how that works either. Not with this digit. Because if we have a gap of 2, then that has to be 2, 4, 6, 8. And that is... Okay, I don't see how that works. I'm hoping this works, otherwise I've made a ricket here. I'm going to have to rethink this. Row 3, column 2. I don't like this either. If row 3, column 2 is correct, that's a 5. No, I've missed. There's something here I'm not spotting. But one of these, have I missed a natural possibility? I don't think I missed a natural possibility. Sorry, let me. as ever, Marty has baffled me again. Hang on. Why couldn't it go 3, 4, and that be a pseudo cell? Did I miscalculate the value of this pseudo cellage here? Because that's row 2, column 3. I might have multiplied them together. I'm not sure. I hope I didn't. But that would be a 5 in terms of value, whatever digit was in there. And that could work. 3, 4, 5, but not this 5. A pseudo cell 5. 6, 7. That works. Well, I'm pretty sure that's what it has to be. Because nothing else was working. Is there anything else you could do? I don't think so. I don't think so. So I'm going to say, well, I don't know what this digit is, but I do know that if that's right, this is 4. And this is 3. Oh, okay, that didn't clear fog, but oh, this is 1 by the power of the V. We don't know what that is. 3, 4, 5. We know that's 6. We know that's 7. And now, what have we got left to place? 1, 8, and 9. Ah, it's so beautiful. Look at that. That's got to be a 9, because we've already had 1 and 8 in pseudo cells. So that's 9. Okay, and this is working now, so that gives me some confidence that we haven't messed up. Well, how can that be a 1? That's a zipper. I can't make these two. Even with pseudo cell nonsenses, I can't make these two add up to 1. So that's got to be 8. That's got to be 1. We're going to know lots of things about the bottom of columns 1, 2, and 3. These two squares, right, can we have a pseudo cell there or not? Because if we can't, this is a 2, 6 pair, because it can't be 1, 7 or 3, 5. Now, if this was a pseudo cell, row 1, column 4 would be a 5. That would have a 3 beneath it. That doesn't work. Row 2, column 4 would be... Oh no, it can't be row 2, column 4, because that's a pseudo cell. So these are both natural. They're a 2-6 pair. Oh, right. We can fill them in. That's 2. That's 6. Okay. Now what do we do? Now we can say 6 is in one of those squares. 2 is in one of those 3 squares. 2 is giving me some digits down here. 2, 7. I suspect it's going to be these, but I'm not sure. Oh, hang on. I can do that. That's got to be a 2. That's got to be a 3, because I need these to add up to 11. That's not 2 anymore. These squares are 4, 5, and 9. I'm actually going to put in all of the options here, I think. This is 6, 8, 9. These are... This is proper good living, isn't it? 4, 5, 7. Mark would be proud of me. This is a 1, 2, 3 triple. So where do we think? The problem is... Well, I'm going to think about that one first, because that's definitely natural from a pseudo cell perspective. And those 2 squares add up to this square. But that could be... Well, no, that can't be a pseudo cell, because that was in the example. That would have a value of 13, and that definitely doesn't have a value of 13. I see how this is working. Right, what we're being told here, this is clever actually. This is a 5, because if it was a 9, this would be a 4 or a 5, and therefore this would be a 4 or a 5 to add up to 9. But this is a 4, 5, 9 triple. I can't put 4 or 5 in this square in box 8. It won't work. So that's definitely not a 9. It can't be a 4, because that will be bigger than it. So that's a 5. That is a 4. This is a 1. Okay, this is good now, isn't it? So now we're off to the races again. We've got a 9 here. That's not 4. That's not 1. These 2 squares probably have to be a 2, 3 pair. Because, yeah, they have to be a 2, 3 pair. They're too big. If they're pseudo-celled, they've got a double-digit number, so that we can do the order. That's 2, that's 3. These squares are 6, 7, and 8. We might be able to do better than that. That's not 6. And... I've got 2 and 6 pencil marked into the same squares there, so that's a 2, 6 pair. Right, so what have we got going along row 3? 7, 8, 9 into these squares, which we can probably do better than. Or not, as the case may be. That is a natural cell. I'm just thinking about this line here. We don't know very much, do we, about the positions of the remaining... I know that's a natural digit. I'm just trying to green the digits that are natural. I could green everything, obviously, under the fog, but I find it very... I can't see the fog when I've done that in the past, and I find that a bit discombobulating. Right... That's a natural digit, but this might not be. If that was... If row 7, column 2, that would have a value of 9. So that can't work. Yeah, these would have to have the same value. Right, so that I'm going to claim that that has a natural value. So, how does this work then? It looks to me like it has to be 2, 5, 8, but maybe that's wrong. No, that is wrong. It could be 2, 4, 6, couldn't it? Bother. That's really annoying. I don't think this can be 7, because the gap to this is too big to warrant that, so that's not 7. So, oh, I see, and that does it. Okay, so that's 4 by Sudoku then. Because it can't be 5 because of this digit. Right, so now we can work this out, can't we? Well, that could be a pseudo cell. It would have the value of 10. That's it. That's it. Okay, because you can see if we make this 3, there's a gap of 1 along the line. That would have to be 5. That won't work. So we know that this is a 2. We're looking at gaps of 2. So that's got to be 6. That's got to be 8 now. And this has to have a value of 10 or 6, but it can't have a value of 6 because it's in the wrong place from a pseudo cell perspective. So that's pseudo celled. Oh, we don't know it. I was thinking it was going to be resolved by the digits we've already got in the red pseudo cells, but I don't think it is. Right, that digit is a 9. This digit is not a 6, so this digit is the only place for 6 in box 8. That is a natural digit. This might not be a natural digit. Oh goodness, I'm going to have to be careful here. I don't know whether that's natural or not. If it's natural, and that's natural, well then it just depends what that one is. That's not 3. And that's not 2. So that, okay, so that's a 1, that's a 3. 3 could be here. 1 is in one of those squares. 2 is in one of these squares. I've got a bad feeling I'm about to be asked to do Sudoku. 5, I was going to say no. I thought I might be able to get it in box 2, but no, I can't. Oh, I've got a 7-8 pair. So this is a 3-4 pair in column 5. Which is apparently unresolved, which is slightly weird. Where's the restriction then? 5, 7, 8. That digit's restricted. Yeah, there it is. This digit can't be 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9, or 1 or 2. So that's 3 or 4, and that seems to give me a pair. So in this row, we've not put in 5, 7, and 8. Oh, how weird. Right, this digit is where we're meant to look, I think. If that's a, how can that possibly be a 5? Because this is a natural digit. Oh, no, hang on, I might be no, I've got to be careful. Because there could be funny things going on here with pseudo cells. I haven't thought about this. These could both be, or one of them could be a pseudo cell. Now, if that's a pseudo cell, row 3, column 5 would have a value of 8. So the value of this is 7 or 8, even if it's a pseudo cell. And if this is a pseudo cell, it's 9 then. Oh, right, so I have got... Okay, well, this is good, because that means I have got the right options into these two squares, even so far as values are concerned. So I'm going to come back to my question. How can that be a 5? And there's no sequence that we can make here that's going to work, is there? I don't think there is. 5, 7, a gap of 2. We can't make a gap of 2 work. 5 to 9. It just doesn't work. That can't be 5. So I feel like I want to say that this is going something like 7, 9, 7, or 7, 8, 7, or 8, 7, 8, or something. But all of that could be affected by pseudo cells as well. So maybe this isn't the line. Maybe this line is where I'm meant to look. Or maybe Sudoku is where I'm meant to look. 2, 3, 4. Yeah, yeah, got it. Okay, so that cell is restricted from a Sudoku perspective. Marty, it is absolutely outrageous that after 44 minutes, only 44 minutes, you're making me do this. That cell is 7 or 8 by Sudoku. 2 and 6, and all the other low digits are there. So it's 7 or 8. That gives me a 7-8 pair. That makes this a 9, which means this is not 9. I've got 3 7s and 8s along this line. Oh, well, does this help? Yeah, okay. Maybe it helps here. These squares are 2 and 6. Oh, no. Oh, right. Okay, so you can sort of see why this line might be here now, because there's a deadly pattern that would otherwise exist in the grid. So, what is this digit? This is 3, 4, or 5. Well, it's 3 or 5 then. That's 4 or 5. That one, oh no, it's 3, 4, or 5. Yeah, 6, 5, 6. Is that forced? The thing is, I don't know where any pseudo cells are here. What would the value of that be if it was pseudo-celled? It would be row 7, column 8. It would be a 15. No, that... Oh, good, right. That's what it's going to be. Good, this is classic Marty. This is such nonsense. What's the pseudo-cell value of that? The answer is that's row 9, column 6, which has a value of 15. So that is very suspicious. That I could put 2 pseudo cells on this line and it would work, no matter what this was. That, I bet you that's the answer. This is going to be double red. Yeah, and these digits haven't appeared in any pseudo cells yet. So somehow that is provable. Oh, I've got a 7, 8 pair here. That's a 5. Maybe we can do it from the top of the grid and work our way down. That's not 5 anymore. So that digit is now a 9. And... okay. Actually, this is weird now. How am I meant to do this? Is this all completely obvious? I suspect so, but I'm feeling a bit discombobulated. What digits have I not had in pseudo cells? I've not had 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. I've got a 2, 6. Yeah, I've got a 2, 6 pair here. So maybe there's more Sudoku we can do in column 9. I need 1, 3, 4, and 9. Yeah, where's 9 in column 9? That's a reasonable question. That is that's going to go in the fog. Look. Oh no! It clears the fog and gives me nothing. That seems to suggest that's a 3 if I use my pencil marks. So that is no longer a 3. And we've got 1, 3, and 4 to place in it. So this is a 1 or a 4 in the corner. And that's a 1, 3, or a 4 in the corner. And this column needs 1, 5, 7, and 8. So that's apparently 5, 7, or 8. That's 1, 5, or 7. I'm going a bit crazy with the pencil marks here. I know nothing on that line is pseudoed, don't I? Oh, and I know that's not pseudo. So there's only 2 possibilities for the pseudo cell in box 8. And if that was pseudoed, it would be a 7, because we've already had a pseudoed 8 here. But why can't this go 6, 3, 6? That's my question. That's, I mean, and all of these be natural. Is that illegitimate for some reason. Or am I supposed to know something about this? How does this line work? Well, that could be a 7. That could be a 7. And that could be an 8. And that would work. There we go. That's how that line works. Now, okay, so let's try and plot more carefully where the pseudo cells live in this row. Has no, 2 and 6 have not been pseudoed yet. Gosh, I'm sorry. I can't see this at all. Marty, what are you doing here? That's natural. So, whatever this is, and it might be pseudoed and have a value of 9. But if it was, this would have to... No, it doesn't matter, because it goes 7, 9, 7. Or it could go 8, 9, 8. What? Maybe I can have. Maybe this can't be pseudoed anymore. If that's pseudo, no, it can be. If that's pseudoed, it has a value. Oh, hang on. Yeah, if that's pseudoed, it has a value of 8, which I think means that has to have a value of 8, and this would have to be a 7. Oh, but if hang on. If that's pseudoed with a value, if that's pseudoed. If that's pseudoed, it has a value of 8, but it can't be an 8, so it would be a 7. So this line would go 8 value, 8 actual digits, so a difference of 0, and that would be an 8. Oh, this is completely absurd. It's completely absurd. But the upshot is, I think that either of these, I think, could be pseudoed. So, how do I do this then? How do I do this? Have I missed a clue? Have I missed Sudoku? That's very possible. Where have I missed the Sudoku here? 1, 3, 4, 5 in the top row. I've got this 2, 6 pair here. 1, 5, 7, 8 in the column. There could be something in the fog there if I can get to the Sudoku. 1, 3, 4. Or do I have to be... Maybe I've got to be a bit more careful about which cells can and can't be pseudoed by reference to what I've already got in the grid as having been pseudoed. So 1, 3s, 8s and 9s, wherever they appear, I'll definitely, like that cell is definitely natural. That cell's definitely natural. That cell's definitely natural. Oh, well, all of these are definitely natural. They're all in a box with this one. Yeah, okay, I'm going to have to be a bit more diligent. I apologise. I've not got much fog left, so I think it's fine to do this. Yeah, there's still something to be found up here. Have I had a 2 in a pseudo cell? No. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I know all of these are green. Yeah, okay. I should probably have used this method straight away and ignored the fact that it was going to get complicated with the fog, because I've now thoroughly confused myself. Now I don't know about. I know that's a 9, so I know that's not a pseudo cell. Okay. So, is there a reason that if that's a pseudo cell, it's a 7, because we've already had pseudo cell 8, so this would be an 8 and not pseudoed. That would be a 7. But could be pseudoed into a 9. And then that could be anything. It's really interesting how many different ways this can actually work. Right, so what we're going to have to do is... And there's a possibility still that these are both pseudo. Maybe that's or I can rule that out somehow. But I know, Marty, that's going to be the answer. If that's pseudoed, what are we saying then? We're saying one of those two is pseudoed. And if that's pseudoed... I don't know. Maverick's getting lower and lower. I don't know. I'm really confused. I don't see how this resolves. If that's a natural... If that's a natural 6, that's definitely pseudoed. That becomes pseudoed by Sudoku on pseudos. Yeah, there's only 2 places for pseudos left in column 6. So if that's pseudoed, that's pseudoed. One of those is pseudoed, and one of these is pseudoed. And within that panoply of digits, I have to find... that's it. That's it. Right, no, let's step back. If that's pseudoed, the point is that that is also pseudo. That's really clever. I just didn't see it that way. I should have done, but I didn't. Right, if this is pseudoed, that's pseudoed as well, which means they're a pseudo 7-8 pair, but I've already had 8 as pseudoed, so they can't be a pseudoed 7-8 pair, so that cannot be pseudoed, and that means that's green. This now has a value of 15, which means there's a value gap of 12 along the line. So this has to have a value of 15. The way to achieve that is by pseudoing it. And now I know what digit it is because I've got a pseudoed 6 here. I feel like saying nori nori a lot. So that's got to be 2. That's got to be 2. That's got to be 6. Okay, has that done it? Well, now by Sudoku, that's natural. Does that help me? And by all of this is natural. All of these are natural. That's a 6. Right, what have we had? We've had a 2. We've had a 2. So that this top digit here is pseudoed because that one can't be. So that's a pseudo digit. It's not a 1. Okay, so this is a 3-4 pair, which means I get a 5 here and a 1 here, and a 4 here and a 1 in the corner, and okay, I've still got these 5s and 7s floating around. I've had 3. Oh, so I don't get a 3 in the corner because I've already had a 3 here as a pseudo. So that's 4, that's 3. Oh, see, that's unwinding this deadly pattern. So it's got to be something to do with... Well, I've already had 3 as a pseudo cell. So this is pseudoed. And if that's pseudoed, its value is 8. And it can't... Okay, and it's pseudoed. So its digit is 7. So this goes 7, 8. The difference on the line is 0. Because that has a value of 8, which means that's an 8. That is just absolutely, it's classic Marty. It's just a brilliant, brilliant finish. Wow. Okay, so that's 8, that's 7, and that's 8. And that's probably the answer to the puzzle. That is absolutely brilliant. Well done, Marty. That completely foxed me. Made me feel like an absolute prize Wally. Especially that bit, that one and that one. Having to be the same digit if they were both pseudo. That's very clever. But also it's just panache, isn't it? This is what Marty brings to puzzles. Those being a 15 pair is ludicrous. This being 3 value 8s on the same difference line. Wow. It's just brilliant. Let me know in the comments how you got on. I enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind. And we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.